Coming up in this episode of the Joe Somebody Show, I'm going to talk to you about my new Samsung Galaxy S4 smartphone and also how it compares to the iPhone 4 that I used to have. Hey everybody, welcome once again to another Joe Somebody Show. You know, that thing, the show on the internet. If you follow me on Facebook or Twitter, then you already know that I got the new Samsung Galaxy S4 smartphone the other day from Verizon, and so far I find it very interesting. I had an iPhone before that, and I loved my iPhone. I only had the iPhone 4. Since then they come out with the 4S and the 5, and God, they come out with new iPhones all the time. It's hard to stay current with that crap. I loved the iPhone 4. It was a great phone. It's actually my work phone. It was provided for me, so I didn't have to pay for it. So that's all the much more reason to love it, I guess. And as far as I'm concerned, the iPhone 4 didn't really have that many shortcomings. I mean, I don't care if it has Siri or not. Siri, do you love me?
Sorry, the iPhone 4 does not have Siri.
One of the complaints I've heard a lot of people had with the iPhones is that the screens break real easy, and I just haven't found that to be true personally. I'm pretty hard on a phone. I use it at work. I have customers that I fill out work orders and they have to sign it with their fingertips, and it's always in my pocket and falling off the desk, and I never one time in the 2 years I had this phone did I ever crack the screen. It's broken now. Now granted, it had an internal battery, but the battery was pretty good. I could make it through a whole work day, maybe charge it a little bit on the way home, and I didn't really have any issues with it dying before I went to bed or anything. So overall, pretty good phone. The other day we found out that I was eligible for an upgrade, so my boss asked me what kind of phone I wanted, and I knew it was down to the iPhone 5 or the Samsung Galaxy S4. Now, owning an iPhone for the last couple of years, I've integrated the thing into my soul. I knew that phone inside and out. I thought the iOS operating system made a lot of sense. I was able to do everything that I wanted to do with it. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, but truth be told, I was kind of bored with it. I'd had it for the last couple years. That's why I didn't upgrade to a 4S. That's why I didn't upgrade to the iPhone 5, is because I felt like they were the same exact phone except for plus Siri, and one was a little bit taller. Boy, does Apple know what I'm looking for in a phone. So I was excited to learn more about the Android operating system, and I was excited to have something new and different than what I had had before. One of the first things I noticed about the S4 when I got it out of the box is how light it is. It's almost feather light. And still right now, compared to the iPhone 4, it's a little bit lighter even though it's bigger. You know what they say, bigger is better. And speaking of bigger, look at this difference. Here's the S4 on this side here. This is the iPhone 4. S4, iPhone 4. Look at the difference. They're both in OtterBoxes right now. I had pretty good luck with this OtterBox. This is the Commuter Series OtterBox that I had on the iPhone 4. Never had a problem with it, so before I even got the Samsung Galaxy, I went online and ordered the Commuter Series Commuter Series OtterBox. You know what I'm saying. The S4 is absolutely brilliant. It's really fast. It's got a great processor. It's got plenty of memory, more memory than some computers that I've owned. It has a beautiful display to it, a good sized screen. Look at that. See that? It's getting closer. Let's not get in closer because it's blurry and I don't feel like fixing it. The S4 does come with the gesture technology where you can just kind of think of something and then rub it out. Rub it out. Ugh. I feel like a lot of the things that they advertise about this phone are more like novelty items. I don't need to wave my hand across my phone to answer it. It's kind of neat that if I look away from it while I'm watching a YouTube video, it'll pause. Other than the fact that the other day I was watching a video, and it was kind of at a boring part, and I glanced up to watch traffic go by while I was waiting on the video to get to the good part, and no crap, it paused, and I thought, I'm on 4G LTE. Am I actually buffering right now? The phone, it just paused it because I looked away. It's genius and unnecessary. Speaking of that, that is a huge difference between our buddy the iPhone 4, which is only a 3G capable phone, and the S4, which is a 4G LTE phone. Now, sitting in an area where I had full coverage of 4G LTE service, I was able to pull down like 80 plus megs download and like 19 megs upload speed or something. That's awesome! I do tech support for a living. I am a computer guy. I am an absolute nerd, and I love more than anything fast internet. But unfortunately, we only have 3 meg internet at home, which has a 768K max upload, which makes uploading HD videos to YouTube borderline suicidal. No, seriously, sometimes I just want to slip my wrist while I'm waiting on something to upload. I spit on the lens. So on the iPhone, I had something called iMessage. My wife has an iPhone, a lot of other people that I know have iPhones, and so we can use iMessage to send each other messages back and forth. Very similar to SMS, except for it works on your Wi-Fi, so it saves you money on your text messaging bill, and it also works whether you have cellular service or not, as long as there's a Wi-Fi internet connection present. Unfortunately, there's no such thing present on the Samsung Galaxy S4 or any Android phone for that fact. iMessage is an Apple thing. It's only available for Apple phones. But in order to remedy that situation, I do have some program, an application, I forgot what it is. In order to remedy that situation, I do have Google Voice, and I have a alternate phone number set up. It's also the phone number that's listed on my thejoesomebodyshow.com in case somebody wanted to send me a text or call me sometime just for the heck of it. It is that phone number. It also rings on this device just by having that app on there and having it properly configured, and I can use that to text my wife if I'm somewhere where I don't have cell service and I have Wi-Fi. I can use the Google Voice app to text. Side note, I can actually log into the Google Voice website and I can type on the keyboard on a computer and text. It goes to my wife's phone, she replies back, and it comes in like an email on their website. Google Voice is a pretty cool program and it's free, so check it out. Now besides iMessage, I haven't found that much that the Galaxy S4 can't do that the iPhone could do. But one of the things that I found absolutely surprising is even though that the S4 is, several years newer than my iPhone 4, the actual phone service on it is nowhere near as good. And I find that kind of ridiculous because, smartphones are awesome, and the smarter they are, and the faster they are, and the more brilliant the screen, the better. But at the end of the day, they are cell phones, and I think that it's important that they improve the quality of the actual phone, the radio that connects you to the tower, as well as all the other stuff. I don't really have service in my own apartment, I don't have service in some of the places where I work, but in other places, oddly enough, I have 4G LTE service. So it's kind of strange, but I was disappointed by that. And they boast online about the Samsung's incredible 13 megapixel camera, which actually only takes 13 megapixel pictures in a 4:3 ratio. If you use it in 16:9 like a lot of people do, it's actually only like an 8 megapixel camera. I say that like it's a bad thing, but the camera being 8 megapixels is actually pretty good for a cell phone. It takes decent pictures. It did not do the best with low light situations, especially low light and motion, but overall it's a pretty good camera. And I like to take the pictures with cameras. I like to do a lot of things with cameras. All of the apps that I was used to using on my iPhone 4 are also available for the Android platform, so I've got them on here, my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Blogger, Pandora, Pinterest, Vine, which I think I'm going to start using the Instagram video instead of Vine anyway, but yeah. Because of the ridiculously fast processor and the wonderfully great amount of RAM that's in this phone, all the apps seem to just function a lot better than they did on the iPhone 4, especially Facebook. The Facebook app on the iPhone 4 was the slowest, crappiest piece of crap ever. Crap. But now with this phone, I can just fly through Facebook. It is ridiculously fast. One thing that this phone did that my iPhone 4 did not do was it supports the Amber Alert feature. An Amber Alert is what they pretty much send out whenever a kid goes missing, or I don't know if I know what an Amber Alert is. Well anyway, this phone supports Amber Alerts and all kinds of other emergency alerts, and like at 2 o'clock in the morning, it went off playing this crazy siren sounding thing and scared the crap out of me. So I did have to go into the settings for the alerts and disable the Amber Alerts because, I'm sorry if people's kids are missing, but I really don't want to be woke up like that at 2 o'clock in the morning ever again. Ever. That was scary. The battery life on the Samsung Galaxy S4 is not the best. It has a power save mode, which I pretty much leave mine in all the time because, like I said, I rely on my phone. And when I'm at work, I have to have customers sign off on a work order, and it helps me track a bunch of stuff, and also I'm kind of addicted to the internet, so between power save mode and charging it for like a half an hour on my way home, it'll make it all the way, till I'm ready to go to bed. But on the plus side, the battery is removable, so you can do things like get, the upgraded higher capacity batteries. You can get the extra batteries and charge them and swap them out. And if it ever goes fully dead, you can actually buy a new battery and fix it yourself versus having to take your iPhone to the Apple store and say, hey, my battery's dead, and let them do whatever they do at the iPhone store. Geniuses. And just a side note, typing on it, the iPhone had autocorrect. So as you're typing a message, it didn't even matter if you got, if you just were like close enough to the message, it would figure out what you were trying to say and it would automatically correct it. And I mean, there are websites devoted to all the times that it corrected something wrong and it was hilarious, but most of the time it was pretty freaking close to figuring out what you were typing. So you didn't even have to pay attention. You could just be like, and it's just crazy accurate and you're good to go. But on the Galaxy, even with the haptic feedback or whatever they call it, the keyboard's just not quite as good and as accurate as I expected. That combined with the fact that you don't have an autocorrect, it does suggest words and you have to tap it to accept it, but it doesn't have the actual autocorrect feature to automatically fix it. So it takes me more time to text and to do things on it, and I assume that I'm going to get better at it, you know, the more time I spend with it. But that just shocked me. And my mom, who actually had the Note before and now has the Galaxy S4 as well, told me the same thing, that she found it harder to type on that phone than it was on her old phone, and I found that strange. She went from one Android device to another and still had kind of a hard time, or harder time, typing than she expected. It is worth mentioning that you can actually talk to the phone and have it type out what you're saying while you're texting, so that is quite interesting and beneficial. The video on the S4 is not the greatest, but it's not terrible either. And compared to the iPhone 4, I think it's probably a little better, but it's still, you know, it's not this, it's that. This is good. That's okay. And all the bouncing around is because I can't keep my hand steady. Now, I do absolutely love the notification center that's at the top of the Samsung Galaxy S4 and a lot of other Android phones, where it pretty much pops up and tells you about every little thing, and you can turn off things that you don't like. But if you get a new Facebook message, it pops up and tells you, and you kind of know, you know, on the iPhone 4, several times I would be like, hey, what was that noise? It made a noise, like a text noise, but I'm not really sure what it was, and I'm like, no, it wasn't that. I don't know what it was. You can go back and look in your notification center, and you always can tell why your phone made a sound. And that, combined with the fact that you got the blinking LEDs and all kinds of stuff, it just seems more informationally correct than the iPhone 4. Now, the ability of the operating system to integrate with Facebook helps me keep my contacts synchronized and have cool little photos, and even if I receive a call like from my wife or from anybody that's my friend on Facebook, it'll actually show me on the incoming call screen their most recent Facebook status, which is unbelievably useless but awesome. The selection of ringtones it comes with are very modern and glassy sounding. I don't know how to describe it. Very modern sounding, but not the coolest in the world. I have not put my own ringtone on there yet, which I normally do customize a little bit more, but I haven't done that yet because for some reason I dig that ringtone. I don't know why. I dig it. Cool. No, like seriously, I don't know why, but when people call me, I don't even want to answer it. There's a little bit of a learning curve going from an Apple iPhone 4 to the Samsung Galaxy, but you know what? It's one of those things that has reinvigorated me, has made me more excited about my phone, and made me realize that I don't really have anything to do on the phone because nobody talks to me on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or any of the other things that I have on there. Snapchat, yes, I have a Snapchat, no, I don't know why. So I find myself constantly unlocking the phone and looking at it and trying to figure out something neat that I can do with it. There's all kinds of possibilities, but I really, you know, I guess I'm just admiring it. Well, anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. If you liked it, click the like button, favorite, subscribe, send it to your friend, your neighbor, your foe, or your senator. I don't care who you send it to, just share the crap out of my videos. They're just not getting seen enough. And it's fun to make these things, but only if I know people are watching them. I hope you enjoyed this. I know it's different than the kind of stuff that I normally make, but you know, gotta branch out a little bit.